Hello, everyone. Let's talk today about things that could have been done sooner. Some of these things have been done, some of those things have not been done. One of the items that appeared in multiple sources, this particular one is from Guardian, but I also saw it on Reuters and BBC, so you can find it, is about Ukraine pulling back the US supplied Abrams tanks. And this is, again, this is not from this aid package, this is from one of the previous aid packages. And the reason being that they haven't quite figured out how to use them best in the conditions that exist in Ukraine. So, what is up with that? What's going on with that? Well, one of the things that happened was that 5 tanks were lost to Russian drone attacks. So one of the issues in Ukraine is that, with the exception of the western side of Ukraine, Ukraine is flat. This is southern part of a very large, very old geological plate that basically has significantly evened out over the millions and millions of years. So Ukraine is flat, and there's not a lot of like big forests and parts of the landscape where you can hide a tank. When the tanks have to go into battle, they have to cross open spaces, and of course, that makes them vulnerable to drones, to observation from above, and so on and so forth. So now the US defense officials are saying, well, you know what? We need to go in there and help them out. We need to go in and help them sort out the strategy, how to use those tanks in those conditions. I would imagine we're going to see some experts from Afghanistan coming in. Anybody who had to function in those flat plain conditions in the open. So we'll see how that works. But again, this is one of the things that could have been done sooner. Russia continues to pound the eastern region of Ukraine, the Donetsk Luhansk region. So far, they've killed at least 6 people in the last 24 hours. So this is the part that is occupied by Russia. And again, I've mentioned this before. I don't get it. Donetsk Luhansk is the part of Ukraine that is populated largely by former Russian transplants. During the Holodomor under Stalin, lots of people living there, Ukrainians, died, and Stalin basically picked up a large section of Russian population, primarily convicts, and put them in. So these are all descendants of those Russian transplants. And initially, about 10 years ago, they were very much pro-Russia and let Russian militants into Ukraine, and participated in Russia's campaign, basically saying, oh, we want to secede from Ukraine. So instead of following a constitutional process to consider this, they just let in Russian militants and instigated basically a civil war. So now this region is getting pounded, and I have a feeling the people living there are not pro-Russia anymore. Not much. The other piece here, again, this is in multiple sources, and the reason I'm laughing is the formulation. So this is from NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg, who said that China must stop supporting Russia if it wants to enjoy good relations with the West. Guys, again, what is the motivation for China to do so? You can't tell China, oh, we're expressing grave concerns, you must do this and this and that, and not have consequences. As long as there are not palpable consequences to China, and right now there aren't, they're going to continue doing this. You can't just make statements and not have anything to back them up. Case in point, Putin, who is preparing for his, I don't know, umpteenth inauguration, which is on May 7th, is also getting ready to visit China after that. Now, if his plane and the accompanying planes were to experience a technical malfunction along the way to China, maybe then China would get the message. But as it is, again, honestly, what is the reason for China to stop collaborating with Russia? What are the consequences? Now, here's somebody who's suddenly gotten very vocal. So, this statement by Belarus's Lukashenko overlaps with Russia sending some nuclear ballistic missiles to Belarus. And again, pull up your map, brush off your geography, look at where Belarus is, look where Russia is, look where Ukraine is, because this is important. Belarus is much better positioned strategically with respect to the Baltic states, Poland, and Ukraine. It's kind of like between all of those. And so this is significant. Russia shipping missiles there is obviously, a sign of trying to make an impression in response to U.S. providing aid to Ukraine. But here is something else to think about. Lukashenko is a liar. We all know this. He learned his tricks from his Lord and Master, Putin. So the fact that he is making statements that there's something going on, that somebody's threatening Belarus, does that sound familiar? That, Belarus is not safe, somebody's trying to hack off a piece of it and ask NATO troops to come in and all of that. Does this sound familiar? Yes. We've heard this before. Who said it? Putin. So I'm hoping that international intelligence agencies are watching this very closely, because behind all these ridiculous lies and conspiracy theories is likely an attempt to create some kind of provocation, possibly involving nuclear weapons. Also, not all is well within Russian government, which is not a bad thing. If they squabble among themselves, that weakens them. That's a very old trope. What happened there? Basically, the deputy defense minister has been arrested on bribery charges. And this was unexpected. Now, Russia's defense minister Shoigu is trying to portray this as business as usual, but I am wondering whether we're going to see more about this and, what exactly happened. And then there's this. This is from Reuters, and it's a good idea. But my question is, again, why wasn't this done sooner? North Korea has been supplying weapons to Russia for a while, as has been China and Iran. Why is this just now being brought up? As we said before, no consequences, no change.